Today, the topic for today is talking about one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started personal finance, when I first started on this journey of personal finance. You see, when I got started with personal finance, I thought I unlocked the code when I heard somebody talk about automating your finances. I thought, this is all I needed to know when it comes to finances. I heard somebody talk about, if you want to save more money, all you have to do is automate the process. Just set up a thing on your bank account where it automatically transfers out a certain amount of money into your separate savings account. And in my head, I thought, you know what? That's all I needed. I was like, I have finally figured this thing out. I said, I felt like Isaac Newton when the pineapple fell on his head, or I felt like Einstein when he figured out the theory of relativity. I just felt like, I have unlocked the codes to wealth building. I have unlocked the code to this financial thing. I am going to be good to go. I thought I figured this whole thing out. And then on top of it, I found out that my job allowed me to have up to 10, let me say it again, up to 10 accounts for direct deposit. In other words, I don't have to actively set up anything on my bank account for money to even go into my checking account in the first place and then transfer it into another savings account. All I have to do is set up for the money to just go straight to the savings account. I was like, I'm winning. I was like, I'm winning this game. Like, there's nothing else to be said. I'm winning. Like, just do this one thing and I'm winning. And then on top of it, and then I started learning about, I should have sinking funds. I should have multiple sinking funds for different goals that I have. So whether it be Christmas goal that I have saving, or traveling, or maybe I want to buy a house, maybe I want to buy a car, whatever it is, I can set up different accounts for this stuff. My emergency fund, all of this stuff. I can have different accounts and I can do it all. I can do it all without having to think about it at all. And you're asking yourself, you said this is the biggest mistake you make when you first started personal finance. We don't hear anything that's a mistake so far. Everything sounds pretty good. Well, that's the thing. Everything was pretty good for about a month when I first started doing this. You see, what happened was when I was getting all excited, starting to transfer money, starting to set up all the direct deposit and all this stuff to save money in multiple different locations, I did not factor in my non-fixed expenses. So the things that are non-fixed expenses in your budget, gas, food, one-off items that just randomly pop up during the week where you might go out to eat with a friend or something like that. Or maybe you have visitors in your house. I never factored that into my calculations when I was starting to make all these transfers. All I was thinking about was like rent, water, power, cable, phone, insurance. That's all I was thinking about was the fixed expenses. And that's how I set up all the transfers. I set up everything to send all the money wherever it needs to be. And then the rest would balance into my account and would be the money that I can spend. But for about a month, it felt amazing. I felt great. I felt like I had won everything. I was feeling on top of this world. Problem was, the new month, after I paid all my bills, all of a sudden, money got super tight. And I was like, what's going on? I didn't understand why my money felt so tight, why my budget felt so restrictive, why I couldn't just go to Walmart and buy groceries for myself, why when I needed to buy gas in my car, it felt tight. It felt like I was always having to transfer money out of my emergency fund to cover my regular expenses. I would review my expenses, thinking maybe the problem was in the math, thinking maybe if I just saved a little bit more, maybe if I just cut back a little bit more, maybe I was eating out too much. I wasn't eating out too much. I only ate out on the weekend, maybe once. I thought to myself, maybe I'm driving too much. So I stopped doing anything. I stopped going anywhere. I would only go to work, come home, and that's it. I wouldn't even go across town to go play soccer. I said, maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm spending money on Amazon. So I said, no more Amazon. I cut it out. I stopped. I said, maybe I have too many subscriptions. But that was not the problem. The problem was I was saving too much. You see, a lot of people are going to hear that and say, that sounds like a nice problem to have, but it's not. Because all of a sudden, life felt terrible again. It felt like I was back in debt. It felt like no matter what I did, this whole personal finance thing was not working out for me. I couldn't live life. I couldn't do anything. If anybody asked me for anything, I was like, bruh, do you know I don't have money? Like, why are people asking me like I got money? I look at my bank account, I'm like, I ain't got no cash. I ain't got no money. It would be like friends asking you like, yo, bro, you want to go out to lunch? It's been like a month since I went out to lunch with anybody, but I'm like, nah, I can't do that because I can't do it. I can't afford to do it because I was saving too much. There's a point where you get to where you cut so much of your expenses out that you start to bleed, where it starts to hurt, where you can't just live life, where you can't just go buy groceries for yourself. I remember my brother used to get on me and be like, bro, you don't eat. Why don't you eat? How come you don't eat? That doesn't make any sense. You need to go get some groceries, bring it home, cook and eat. Why is there never any food in your fridge? What is the problem with you? Why? I was on this focus. I had this focus. I had this goal. I have to save this amount of money. I must save this amount of money. Recently, I've talked about this before. I read the book Just Keep Buying, and he made a good point. He said, sometimes in life, you just have to save what you can. There's such a focus, especially when it comes to personal finance, on us optimizing every single cent, optimizing every single dollar. But when we do that, sometimes it ends up costing us a lot more than we're willing to pay. It changes things from paying a fee to enjoy the things that we want in life into paying a fine to make us suffer and keep away from doing the things we actually want to do. So my advice to everybody is be careful of oversaving when it comes to your personal finance. It's very easy to get caught in that loop of oversaving because you're thinking to yourself, yo, I need to be saving money. I need to be saving money. I need to be investing. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. And it's like sometimes you just need to slow down. Sometimes you need to cut something. You need to cut your savings a little bit so you can still live life. And it's okay. Here's the crazy thing. It's okay. Like for me, one of the things I had to cut back on how much I was putting into my 401k. And for some people, that is blasphemous. Like, what? You cut down your 401k? Yes, I did. Yes, I did because I had other goals that I wanted to meet at that point in time. Other priorities that were just as important. And I was not about to sacrifice every single thing in my life. Trust me, for anybody who knows me, you know I don't spend money like that. But you know what? I made a slight adjustment. Rather than like trying to force it and just neglecting my life and making my life suffer and suck, I said, you know what? We can just find more ways to make a little bit more money if we really want to save that much. Let's find other ways to make a little bit of dollar here, a dollar there, a penny here, a penny there. And then that way we can still save. But even if, it doesn't mean we need to shoot ourselves in the foot just so we can save a little bit more money. Because at that point, it starts costing you a lot more. Costs you so much more mentally, taxes on your body because you're trying to save more money and more money and more money. So just be careful. For all my friends out there who are super savers, just be mindful. If you have multiple goals you're trying to accomplish, you might need to prioritize some and put some on the back burner and say, you know what, I'm going to just have to get to you further down the line and eventually get to you. Right now, the focus needs to be focused on the main thing, and everything else, you know what? We just let it ride. So again, the biggest mistake that I made was oversaving. Sometimes you just got to save what you can save. But anyway, I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing. I'm not even sure if I actually made any sense. I'm still trying to recover cognitively from this whole sickness. But I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing. And if you did, hit that like button. If you loved it, hit that subscribe button. But I'm going to catch y'all up on the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. God bless each and every single one of y'all. And your boy is out of here. Peace. Whoosh.